forgiveness, repentance. Those are concepts that we're all familiar with, right? Some of us have a hard time saying, I'm sorry, but what is real repentance? You ever thought about that? Maybe you're a believer. Have you ever thought about what real repentance is? Well, real repentance, genuine repentance, it means honest contrition for the wrongs you've done, admitting the wrongs you've done, admitting you don't ever want to do those wrongs again, and seeking reconciliation. That is real repentance, you see. And that is the only way people are able to come back together again, truly. Real repentance is not, oh, sorry, I had too many beers last night, but you're not really sorry. And then you go out tonight, and the next night, the night after that, and have some more beers. That's not real repentance. You were never really sorry. And so I bring this up because there's something I've been noticing. I'm sure you've been noticing it as well. All these people who have been our mortal enemies for years now, they're starting to sound like freedom fighters. They're starting to sound like they are on our side. And this is what I'm seeing a lot of from our side. I'm seeing a lot of, man, I'm so happy he's coming around. Mark Zuckerberg's actually a great example of this because this is all over the news right now. Mark Zuckerberg's in the news right now. Man, sounding pretty good saying things like this.
Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
Wow. That sounds good, right? And he even threw in, there was so much there to like. He even, of course, had to finish it up. We're going to work with Trump. Whoa, make America great again. He said, we're leaving California. We're moving to Texas. Man, sounds red, white, and blue. He's clearly on our side. Except, you know what I didn't hear? And believe me, I listened to that clip 5 or 6 times today just to make sure. I didn't hear, I'm sorry. I didn't hear we've done wrong. In fact, let's just set that aside. Maybe you're saying, well, he can't say that. Okay, maybe, but I'll give you that. Did you hear even that much genuine contrition that Mark Zuckerberg and his communist friends have spent years doing everything they can do to silence free speech in this country, as long as the speech was from the right? You know that content, this show's content, has been censored on Facebook because Mark Zuckerberg was taking in George Soros money to ensure you couldn't see it. In 2020, when Donald Trump was up for re-election, Mark Zuckerberg didn't sit on the sidelines. He wasn't just, watching as things went by. Mark Zuckerberg spent $400 million, not $400, not even $4 million, $400 million to ensure ballot boxes were placed in just the right spots in those swing areas. Mark Zuckerberg has done as much as anybody to censor speech in this country. And so what's happening now? Is he coming around? Well, I mean, it's like 5 minutes ago he was talking like this.
Leave, I spent a lot of time with our teams on the issue of Russian interference in the US elections. And I made some decisions on the next steps that we're going to be taking, and I want to share those with you now. First, let me say this. I care deeply about the democratic process and protecting its integrity. Facebook's mission is all about giving people a voice and bringing people closer together. Those are democratic values, and we're proud of them. I don't want anyone to use our tools to undermine democracy. That's not what we stand for. Now, I wish I could tell you that we're going to be able to stop all interference, but that just wouldn't be realistic. There will always be bad actors in the world, and we can't prevent all governments from all interference. But we can make it harder. We can make it much harder. And that's what we're going to focus on doing.
Undermine democracy. Stop governments. So when you were questioning the vaccine or mask policies and you were censored on Facebook, that same guy was doing it. And again, I don't want to just single out Mark Zuckerberg. I could go on and on about him. He, of course, is responsible for the censoring of the Hunter Biden laptop story, the story the FBI worked with Facebook to censor to ensure Joe Biden could win the election. Let's just move on from that because he's not near alone in all this. Tim Cook with Apple, Tim Cook, who has said things like this in the past.
Mother Nature, welcome to Apple. How is the weather getting in?
The weather was however I wanted it to be. Let's cut to the chase. In 2020, you promised to bring Apple's entire carbon footprint to zero by 2030. Electricity, status.
We're operating on 100% clean electricity.
This building is carbon neutral?
Oh, yeah, we do it with a mix of clean energy and eliminating greenhouse emissions. It's kind of like if you were to...
You're seriously explaining carbon neutrality to Mother Nature?
Our aim is to permanently remove carbon from the atmosphere.
As you can see, we've innovated and retooled almost every part of our process to reduce our impact on the planet. But there's still a lot more work to do.
I want to see you do more of this.
You will.
When?
By 2030, all Apple devices will have a net zero climate impact.
All of them?
All of them.
They better.
They will.
Wow. Pretty inspiring. But you see, he's changed his tune. He donated $1 million to Donald Trump's inauguration. Just wrote a $1 million check. He's not alone either. Jeff Bezos, the head of Google, I can't pronounce the guy's name, Sundar Pichai, whatever, it doesn't matter. They have all flown down to Mar-a-Lago to bend the knee and kiss Donald Trump's feet. Bill Gates himself has been out there begging for a meeting with Donald Trump. Now, I'm not telling you to cut people off forever after they've wronged you. I would never say such a thing. But real, genuine repentance comes with an acknowledgement of the things you've done wrong and a real heart to not do those things again. Real repentance is not a $1 million check to your inauguration. Real repentance is not showing up to Mar-a-Lago to get down on your knees and kiss Donald Trump's behind. That's not real repentance. And these people are not street animal morons pulling down statues and gluing themselves to the street. These people are the brain children and the money behind almost all of the communist activity in the United States of America. And so this entire monologue was just one big warning for everybody. There is a difference between repentance and licking your fingers, sticking it in the air, and seeing which way the wind blows so you don't get hurt over the next 4 years. Forget trust but verify. I don't trust any of them at all. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.